So now, so we will see the next topic. Okay, so difference between, okay, so difference between finally, and finalize. Okay, finalize method. This is also very important topic, guys. Okay, and into you, people will ask you. So what is the difference between finally, and finalize? Okay, if they ask this question, so they can cover what? Final variables they can cover, and even finally block also they can cover, and they can cover finalize also. Understand? So no, I think hope you people aware of final, right? So tell me, what is final, guys? What is the final? Tell me. I think you guys already know final and finally. Now tell me what is final?
Constant.
Yes, constant.
Constant.
You tell me what? No constant. What is final? Here I'm asking. I'm not asking any final variable. I'm asking final. I'm not asking any. Final is what, guys? Is a modifier, right? Final is what? Modifier. Tell me. Finally modifiers when we will use? Guys, I'm expecting answer from you. I'm not asking anything which I did not discuss. Okay, I'm asking the questions which already we covered. Okay, final is a modifier. We can apply final modifier for variables at variable level, at method level, at class level. So if you apply at variable level, what will happen?
We cannot modify.
If you apply at variable level, that final variable we cannot reassign, right? Final variable we cannot reassign the value. Means what? It will become constant. So constant means what? It will fix. We cannot reassign the value. We cannot change the value. Fine. Now, final method. Final method means what? When you apply final keyword for method level, what will happen? So when you apply final keyword to the method, what it will become, guys? So we cannot override that method in the child class, right? So whenever you want to override, whenever you don't want to override any method, simply we will put what? Final. So if you put final method means what? In the child classes, if you have any, those child classes, we cannot override that method. Okay. So we are stopping override that particular method into child classes. Am I right or wrong? Okay.
Yes.
So let's suppose in our functionality, in our business requirement, if something, there is a functionality, that functionality will be fixed. Okay. So the no implementation classes should not modify that functionality. So that time what we will do in that particular method, we are going to write that functionality. That method we will make what? Final. Final means what? It will fix it. Okay. All the child classes. Okay. So definitely they will use what? This functionality only. Understand? So they cannot put their own functionality. Am I right or wrong? So all the child classes, they have to use the same functionality because they cannot, we are not giving permission to change the, okay, change the implementation. So that time we will go for what? Final methods. So final method means what? It's fixed. We cannot override it. Okay, child class level. Right. Now, final keyword we can apply at what? Class level. Tell me. We can apply at class level also, right?
Yeah, we can.
Tell me, when you apply final at class level, what happened?
We can't override the class.
Okay, so final classes not override, Vignesh. So final classes we cannot create child classes. Understand?
Yeah.
For final classes we cannot create child classes. If you put final means what? It's fixed class. Okay, we cannot create any child class for that final class. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's suppose our business requirement, there is a functionality. The functionality what we are going to implement in that class, that should be fixed for all the implementations. Understand? All the implementations. Let's suppose there is a car functionality, right? In the car functionality, steering should be common, right? Am I right or wrong? Or else 4 wheels should be common, right? So So let's suppose Honda City car also 4 wheels are common. Even Audi cars also 4 wheels are common. Even if you take Maruti car also 4 wheels are common. Right? So we cannot change that. So let's suppose that functionality we are implemented in one parent class. Right? Now in the child classes, so they cannot change that functionality. So can we have 6 wheels for Maruti car? So can we have 7 wheels for the BMW car? We cannot have. Car means what? It's
No.
fixed. If you take any car,
4 wheels.
it should have what? 4 wheels. Right? So now, such kind of functionality, if you want to implement means where we will put in one class, we'll simply that class as what? Final. Right? So no one will implement that. I mean, no one will have a child classes for that class, guys. So something I'm telling, okay? So in that way, if anything which I don't want to implement, okay, which I don't want to provide, I mean, implementation, such functionality we are going to keep in one class, and we are making that class as what? Final. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, guys. So now, finally, I think finally also you know, right? Finally block. Right. So in the finally block, what we are going to give case? Why we need to use finally block?
Clean.
Hmm? Hmm?
Clean.
So now I want to clean the cleanup code. I want to maintain what? Cleanup code. So in order to maintain cleanup code, okay. So where we need to keep the cleanup code? Finally block. Right? We have only one block to maintain cleanup code. That is what? Finally block. Why we need to keep in finally block? Because finally block will execute always. Whether the exception is raised or not, whether the exception handled or not, always finally block will execute. So now if you keep cleanup code in finally block, always what? Okay, the cleanup code will execute. Thus resources what we are engaging in our application, those resources we will release back to that particular, okay, we will release back to those okay, resources. So those resources will be in the position to provide service to another clients. Come on, I think already we explained it in detail, right? So that's what we will use what? Finally block, right? Fine. So now what is finalize? I think already we discussed even finalize method also at the time of discussing Java features, it seems, right? So tell me guys, what is the finalize? So finalize method, okay? Let's suppose, okay. So now, let's suppose we created what guys? One big Java application. See, in the real time, Java application means what? We will have lot of classes, right? So lot of functionality and lot of classes we have and lot of interfaces, okay, we have. So in the real time, okay, Java project means. So now classes means what? Obviously, we will create what? Object, right? So class means what? It's a physical, right? So, sorry, class means what? It's a virtual, right? In order to use class functionality, what we have to do? We have to create object. Object means what? Reality, right? By using object only, we can access that particular class functionality. So now, so definitely if you have classes means what? Obviously we will create what? Object. Then only we can use the functionality of that particular class. Am I right or wrong? Come on, please. Hello. Listening?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. So now, I mean, we implemented one functionality or one project. So right now we are running that project. So while running the project, definitely we will create what? Many objects. So all the objects, where it will store, guys? Where it will store all the objects? In the heap memory, right? In the heap memory, all the objects will be stored. Come on, already we discussed it, right?
Yeah.
So now, so let's suppose we created a lot of objects, okay? So now, so I think already we discussed some of the objects are, let me write here. So let's suppose we created, okay? So let's suppose we created, these are the objects, guys. Okay, this is the heap memory. We created these many objects. Let's assume. These are what, guys? Objects. So obviously objects where it will store? In the heap memory. right? This part already we were right.
Yes.
So like this, these are objects we have. Okay. So now, fine guys. So now these are objects. Okay. So now, so once the functionality is completed, right? Once the object is completed, what we need to do? So there is a active object and inactive object. I think already we discussed it, right? What is the active object? What is the inactive object, guys?
Thank you, man.
What is the active object? What is the inactive object? Already we discussed it, guys. So now in the heap memory, what are the objects we'll have? I mean, only Java objects we will have, right? Java objects we are going to store in heap memory. Now, in the heap memory, we can contain active objects and inactive objects too. So what is active objects here? The object which is having reference variable. So that is called what? Active object, right? So now the object which doesn't have inactive what you call reference variable, such type of objects are called what, guys? Inactive object. Come on. So I think already we discussed it, guys. Active object and inactive object. So if you are forgetting means what I can do. See here, student. Let's suppose S is equal to new student. Right? We are creating object like this. So now student object is we are creating. Finally, where the student object will store? In the heap memory. This is what? Heap memory. Amen. Again, here I need to explain one more time, it seems. Now, student S is equal to new student. This is the heap memory. Now, so here, this object, we created one object, right? Which object? Student object. So now, the student object, what is the reference variable? What is the reference variable? Huh? What is the reference variable? The student object. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. So now, this S is, let's suppose this is the student object. Right? So this is the student object. So where the student object is stored? In the heap memory. So what is the reference? What is the reference variable of the student object? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Understand? S is the reference variable. So now this object is what, guys? Active object. Because this object has what? Reference variable. Okay? This object has what?
Yes.
Reference variable. So now after some time, if I put like this, S is equal to null. S is equal to null. So what will happen now? After some time, I'm putting S is equal to null. So now the reference variable S is pointing any object now?
No, sir.
We are not pointing, right? So here earlier this is pointing to this object. Now I'm putting null reference to S because this S is not pointing to this S reference variable S is not pointing into any object now. Understand? So now the object which already created, which is there in heap memory, now this object will become what? Inactive object.
Inactive object.
Am I right or wrong? Earlier this object
Yes,
has
sir.
what?
Yes,
Reference variable. Now this object has what? Doesn't have any reference variable. Now this object will become what? Inactive object. Right? So now if you have more inactive object in the heap memory, what will happen? After some time, the heap memory is full of inactive object. So after some time, if you want to create any object to run the application, right? So there is no space in the heap memory to create new object. Am I right or wrong? So that time what will happen?
Right.
You will end up with out of memory error. Understand? You will end up with what, guys? Out of memory error. So application will not execute. Right? So your application will become what? Failure application.
Okay.
Your
Yes,
application will become what? Failure application. So now we need to remove these inactive objects. So who will do that? This task. So who is the responsible to delete these inactive objects?
Finally blocked.
Finally blocker.
Finalize.
Okay. not
Garbage
finalize, garbage
collector.
collector.
Garbage.
Okay, garbage collector. That's what already we discussed again this topic. So I think we spent almost 45 minutes by that time, I think. So now garbage collector is responsible to delete what guys? All these inactive objects. Right? So now who will create this garbage collector? JVM. Understand? So JVM will create one servant. So here garbage collector also what guys? One kind of thread. So here JVM will create main thread. So for which purpose? For which purpose? To run the Java application. Come on, remember. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
JVM will create one servant called main thread. So what is the responsibility of main thread? Main thread has to locate that particular .class file into JVM memory. After that, it will search, do we have any main method in that particular .class file? So if you have main method, then main thread will call that main method. From there onwards, execution will start. So that's what I think already we discussed, the 8 points.
Yes,
Remember
yes,
the
sir.
8 points. So in the same way, JVM will create one garbage collector. So here garbage collector also what guys? One kind of thread. So what is the responsibility of garbage collector? To destroy all the inactive object in the heap memory. To maintain, okay? To maintain what guys? Memory. To maintain what? Memory. Clear everyone? So now here see, now garbage collector. Now JVM activated garbage collector. Now garbage collector is coming. Okay, garbage collector is coming into the picture. Now what garbage collector is doing? Hey, inactive objects, please ready. I'm already coming. Okay, so I will kill you. So now inactive objects. Okay, they are shivering like anything. Understand? Because what garbage collector is coming. Okay, so now garbage collector is going to kill all the inactive objects. Okay, so now these inactive objects are okay shivering guys, because the garbage collector is coming, is going to kill us.